And why did he make you so special? Why did he bless you? Think about it. I woke up this morning. Gonna smile when I say that shit. I woke up this morning. Go.
So my grandpa and I were having a pretty good conversation, honestly. So I decided to put the recorder on and make it a timeless conversation. And, well, you want to start with what we were talking about before? With, you asked me a question, and then I didn't answer the question because I said, let's just do a podcast instead.
Probably had to do with getting drunk one night and going on and karate the next night.
Well, you said on top of like all like the activities I do, like all the workouts, and I started jiu-jitsu this summer, and soccer, and boxing, and all that stuff. Like
that, plus the fact that you don't eat bad food. You gotta. Yeah,
I try to stick away from sugar.
I don't see somebody that won't eat sugar, very little salt, don't even eat egg whites or egg yellow.
Yeah.
The yellow part of the egg. You don't eat that. I cannot see you going out and getting drunk.
Right.
Because that's the opposite of what you do your whole life.
Right, yeah.
You know, that's just the opposite.
You're pretty right too. I've been pretty health conscious for a while. I mean, I haven't had McDonald's since 3rd grade. And when I went to McDonald's and got it for 3rd grade, it was against my will. Like, I didn't have a choice because we were stopping for a bus. It was like a ODP, which stands for Olympic Development Program, which, not that I was going to the Olympics or anything. It was just like a bus going up to Rockford, Illinois, and for like a regional camp thing. And we stopped at McDonald's, like my bus, the Missouri bus. We all stopped at McDonald's. And I had no choice on what to eat, so I got a salad. And that was the last time I've eaten McDonald's, and that was in 3rd grade.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
So I guess you're right. I have been health conscious for a while, so why would I go out drinking? I think for that exact reason is why I limit my consumption so much, and I take into consideration the opportunity cost when I do that. And like I said earlier, like, to be completely real with you, 95% of the time, I hate being hungover more than I like being drunk. So typically, I will only drink for special occasions. So like a special occasion might include like a birthday, a good friend's birthday, maybe New Year's, I don't know, maybe Halloween. I don't know, all these things, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's a guarantee that I am going to drink. Like my birthday, I actually passed out at like 8:30 p.m. on my birthday a few days ago. Like I was just like worn out from like a long day of school, and like just decided to. I'm like I don't feel like doing anything tonight. So like it's not like those things guarantee that I do go out and drink. Because, like I said, like most of the time, I don't find alcohol that amusing. It's temporary gratification and you're pretty much. I heard a quote about alcohol the other day, and I agree with it 100%. It was, I'm trading tomorrow's happiness. No, I'm trading tomorrow's. Something about trading tomorrow for tonight's happiness, and that's all it is. Like, you can get pretty good nights. I mean, it's no guarantee or anything, but at what cost, you know?
Yeah.
And to be completely real with you, and I think a lot of people would agree with you, college kids or whoever, any male, but majority of the reason that I go out is like for girls. I mean, like, that's just what it is.
You don't talk to some girls?
I don't know, and at least in college, it's probably the best way to like just meet girls. For sure.
I wouldn't date a girl that was getting drunk. I wouldn't care about 1 or 2 beers or something like that. But if I went to a party and I really liked the girl, and she was talking to me, everything was perfect.
Right.
But the next thing you know, she's had like 8 beers, and she, from that point, probably not making a lot of sense, you know.
Right.
Laughing when nothing's funny, and see, I don't know. When I was in the Air Force, I went to a party one time, And, of course, everybody was drinking. Darcy and I were there over in Italy. And which would
These are all American soldiers in Italy drinking.
American soldiers.
Okay.
And they were all drinking, I guess, probably beer. And we just had sodas, and we had as much fun as they did. Guess what happened?
I don't even drink soda, by the way.
Guess what happened? I don't even know if we had soda either, but I don't know.
Right. You had some non-alcoholic drink.
I probably didn't have anything because we didn't need anything. At some level, people are not secure in themselves. So they go out and do what everybody else is doing, which is drinking beer. And maybe a lot of things that I don't even know about, like whiskey. And you drink beer all night, you'll have a hangover, but it'll last. Probably wouldn't last more than 4 or 5 hours the next day. See, I don't know. I'm just guessing. But if you drink scotch and whiskey very long, I don't have a clue what you're going to wake up the next day.
True.
I mean, that's like 3% alcohol, maybe.
And Grandpa, I've had hangovers that literally lasted me from like the entire day. Like the next night at 11 p.m., I was feeling terrible. Like going into the second day, I didn't feel that great the second day.
As stingy as you are with money, I don't see you out giving, was it $5 for a little bit of whiskey?
Well, whenever I go to the bars, I typically would drink like at my house and then call a sober driver and get them to get me to the bars. Just because, like you said, I'm more frugal. Unless it's like buying like a friend a drink or a girl a drink, or I decide to have a drink at the bar. But typically what I've done as I've gotten older is I'll drink more early in the night, and then whenever I actually get to the bar, I order waters. And I just drink water at the bar. So then that actually eliminates the hangover, and I don't get too drunk to where I'm regretting it the next day, regretting any of my decisions, regretting how I feel the next day, or any of that. I mean...
Well, when I look at you, I think... when I look at me and you, I think we have a lot of traits that are the same.
Oddly similar.
When I went out with people that are drinking, in my mind, I can make anybody that has a sense of humor, I can make them laugh 3, 4, 5 hours in a row.
Right.
Just by stuff. The key to being funny is mostly exaggeration. If you take something and just blow it out of, like I've heard, one of the things that I tell people is, I'm so old that I struck out Jesus in a baseball game. Most people, if they've never heard that before, if they have a sense of humor, they're going to laugh.
Right.
I do that all night long in different things,
I agree.
I said
exaggeration is important with humor.
Yeah, exaggeration.
The delivery of the exaggeration has to be executed pretty efficiently as well.
And I could go to a party, everybody else is drinking, drunk, whatever, and I probably would have more of them giggling and laughing than anybody there that was drunk.
Respect.
Yeah, it's that, as far as they knew, you could be drunk. Like when Christian went to college, she said when me and her buddy.
Krisha's his daughter, FYI.
Yeah, Krisha's my daughter. Eat crap and die. Krisha's my daughter, and Hannah. You know Hannah.
Yeah, Hannah, her best friend at the time.
Since the second grade.
Since the second
and
grade.
They still are their best friends. They're 40 years old,
Right.
She just turned 40. Krisha was 40 back in June, but Olivia. What? Who?
Yeah, now you're just hopping around.
I just can't think so. Krisha's best friend, anyway, turned 40 in September 3rd. You know why I know that?
Why?
Because I coached their soccer team for about 2nd grade to the 9th grade.
Oh, so you guys would always celebrate her birthday, I guess?
No, but somewhere along the line, we got away from soccer, and we got all these forms we had to fill out.
Uh-huh.
And they had this meeting and they took all the soccer thing, took all the fun out of it, and now all of a sudden you gotta go over here and have everybody try out for your team, and you weren't allowed to take the ones that you had last year. It was really stupid.
It makes no sense.
I got in trouble one time because we were walking across the field, and I looked at one boy and I said, "Man, I hope I get you on my team." That's all I said to him. It's like a court, like a courthouse. They put me in front of a judge almost.
No way.
And
wait, what age group are we talking? Like 9-year-old girls right now?
No, this is when I was doing the boys.
Yeah, but still, how old are these boys? 12?
10 to 12, probably 11, 12.
That is absolutely bananas.
When I started coaching when Scott and
Bananas.
They were 8 years old. That's the year SCCYSA started, 1978. They were 8 years old, and so everybody picked their own team. We just picked the kids that lived close together and their friends and all that, you know.
Right.
Well, like 3 or 4 years later, maybe around 12, it was like a select team. You had to go out and invite everybody in.
Yeah, I was going to say, because that typically gets rewarded now. Like you said, like then you would get thrown in front of a jury. Like, I don't know if you're very familiar with St. Louis soccer at the moment and just soccer in general around the country, but I mean, St. Louis soccer has gotten an extreme rate of it's just recruit. And like the teams like Gallagher and Fuse, I mean, they're constantly like, I mean, that's a huge problem. They're just picking the best players off these other smaller teams.
They've been doing that for a long time.
Right. But I mean, ultimately, what it is that St. Louis is going to be competing with other cities like Milwaukee, Chicago, Los Angeles. These bigger cities typically than St. Louis. So what we got to do, and other cities are doing as well, is recruiting the best players from our area or the area around us and just putting the best team together that we possibly can to represent St. Louis. So, I mean, it makes sense. And then ultimately from there, we got to do the exact same process with the United States and put on the best team we can put.
Yeah, that kind of, if you take a mini portion of that, that's kind of where we were. We started that 19 whatever it was.
Right.
1982 maybe.
Would you want to talk about the evolution of soccer? Not to interrupt you either. Because I would love to hear your perspective, because you helped start SCISA, which is the St. Charles Youth Soccer Association. You were you went to the founding meeting of that, right?
Yeah. Which
is still a running organization.
I was the vice president.
It's a recreational organization that doesn't really do much. It's not really high level. It's recreational. It's not high level competition, but still, you were a founding father. That's extremely cool.
Yeah, I think the second year I went out. I'm not sure how it happened, but I just said, okay, I want to be vice president, and I beat a close friend of mine who was extremely popular, and I'll tell you about him in a second. But he was extremely popular, and I think I beat him by one vote, from what I remember, one vote. So I was vice president for 1 year.
Okay. And
then another year was something else. So I went to all the meetings, and it just took us from 1978. We had maybe under 8. We had 2 years. Kurt and Scott were on the same team. Curtis is 9 months older than Scott.
Okay.
Curtis is in November. In fact, his birthday is just a few days from now, November 7th. So later on, when he got to be 12 years old, they went back to one team. We had enough teams that we could go under 12, under 13, under 14, under 15. I lost Curtis.
Oh, wow.
Best player in St. Charles County, by far.
Right.
I told you this many, many times. There was nobody that could stay anywhere near him. Now, later on, when he got about 14, there was a few other kids that would give him, played different positions, but Kurt was always in the middle.
Right.
Because we never lost a game hardly. We went 2.5 years without losing a game. I think we tied one.
It's impressive.
We tied one once.
Well, that's still undefeated. A tie, I mean, it's still undefeated. Undefeated is just not losing.
You know why we tied a guy?
I do not.
My left forward kid was extremely good, and he would almost score every game. You know?
Oh, didn't he not show up one game?
That's right. His mother, he disobeyed his mother, so she kept him from the game. And he didn't show up. I think we tied 0-0 because he wasn't there to score a goal for us.
Right.
You know. And like 2.5 years and one tie, and that's because of not the best player. Curtis was. When I talk about that, I can't emphasize it enough how much farther ahead that he was than anybody in the league.
Right.
Until he got about 12 or 13 or 14, you know, and then there's some other kids coming along.
Yeah, it's really cool to see, like, little kids dominate at that level. I've always found it really cool.
You know what happened? This guy came in from California, and he knew all about soccer. He had something to do with the soccer league out there, so he joined the league here. And, of course, this is when you had to pick people. You had to pick people, you know?
Right. Was California at the time a little bit further in their evolution?
Oh, yeah.
Right, okay.
No,
Well, Cali soccer now is nice. Cali soccer is the best in the country. At least whenever I was playing. I mean, they on Got Soccer, which is like the soccer rankings, they were always were at the top of the table. Like they would have like consistently like 2 or 3 teams in the top 10 of the nation, which is
Where's that from?
California. Like St. Louis might have one, Chicago might have one.
Well, it's 70
yeah.
degrees every day in California, so they play year round.
Yeah.
And always have. Now they do here too, but you still get snowed out a lot of times here, and this plane can't.
Yeah,
play.
they definitely had some geographical advantages over us.
We
were kind of limited in the winter.
This guy came in, and so he put together a team of like under 14, and I was under 13.
Okay.
So I got Scott, and he selected Curtis. We played against them once, even though we were under 13, they were under 14.
Right.
They beat us 2-0. I walked across, and the coach came up to me and he
shook your own son's hand.
No, the coach. I went across the field, and he said to me, he said that you had just given us the best game we have ever played, ever.
No.
Yeah. Of course, they were killing everybody else. Why?
Right.
Because they had Curtis in the middle of the field. And then he had a son.
Honestly,
he had 2 sons.
I would love to see like the competition back then versus now. To be honest, I don't think there's any. I don't think there's any comparison really.
There isn't any.
Yeah.
Why? Because now you got 10,000 kids that are trying to get on one team.
Right.
Back then we were lucky to have a league, and like in under 8. Couldn't call it under 8, just they were 8 years old. The first year they played, I think maybe we might have had at most 8 teams in our league. And that was two years, like 7 and 8 years old, maybe 8 and 9 years old. So later on it would be called under 9 because we had 2 years. You had to get 2 years the kids to get 8 teams. Think about that. You had to have under 8 and under 9 get together and come up with, 15 times. We usually had 15 on a team. We didn't go up to 21 or 22 like you could.
Right.
Kids got to play a lot, you know. I mean, you had 4 subs. The kids playing a whole lot. But I don't think I ever went above because I wanted the kids to play. If they're sick, that's fine. You stay home. Somebody else plays the whole game or something, you know.
Right.
But I imagine Curtis played the whole game, every game. I can't imagine taking him out for any reason. And we went 2.5 seasons without losing. Now, a season is fall. It's one season. Spring. It's not like 2 years.
Right. 2 years. I mean, either one's impressive. One's impressive.
Fall and spring, that's 2. And then I guess I lost the game. I don't ever remember losing a game, really.
No, but I mean, it's so interesting to me. Like where the U.S., the United States as a country, as a soccer country, where we were in our evolution for soccer, and what year was this that you're talking about? Like when SCISA was founded?
1978.
Because 1978. Wow, that's extremely recent. That's extremely recent. I mean, like that's in 1978. This country was still in its adolescent stages of soccer. Even in the 90s, like the MLS wasn't founded
St. Louis
until the 90s.
Not St. Louis.
How?
You can go back to the 1950s in St. Louis.
Right,
St.
yeah.
Louis won whatever you call in the country. They won the whole country.
Yeah, I remember watching some documentary on that team.
1952 or 56, somewhere around in there.
Yeah, but I'm talking like like to where we're actually starting to develop our youth. Like we were still in our adolescent, premature stages of that, even in the 70s. Like the growth has been extremely exponential since. I mean, like my mom, she didn't even have the opportunity to play. Like I don't know when the growth really has taken off.
Your mother played.
She did play
1 year.
All right, that's besides the facts, whatever. But we are really, as a country, and I can only talk about St. Louis because that's the area I know the best. But the growth that I've seen in my lifetime is absolutely insane. And I'm a firm believer that the United States national soccer team is going to be one of the greatest in I don't know how much time. I think 20 years' time might be enough.
They didn't make it this year, did they?
They didn't make it this year, but I'm extremely, extremely optimistic.
I bet the girls make it.
They won't be in for another 5 years. Christian Pulisic, which is our huge stud right now, I'm extremely optimistic for his future. He's playing for Borussia Dortmund. He's 19 years old right now, so his first World Cup, assuming they qualify for the next one, which I don't see any reason they wouldn't, but then again, I didn't see any reason they wouldn't this time. He'll be 24 for that. Our U17 team's apparently killing it right now. Apparently our U21 team's killing it. Not that makes much of a difference, but I think we're just going to have a whole new generation come on, and I think they're going to work some magic in this next World Cup. And even if it's not that World Cup, it's going to be in the future. I think the U.S. has... Economically, we're there. We have the funds. We have the money to support good soccer players. We have the population.
Yeah.
We're the third largest country in the entire world. We're extremely athletic country. I mean, look at us in the Olympics. We win it consistently. We have the best leagues. We have the best hockey league, the best football league, even though football's really only here. The best baseball league, even though that's only here. NBA.
Baseball's not only here.
Japan, where else?
Yeah, they have Japan.
It's not very popular though. It was founded in the U.S. and it kind of stayed in the U.S.
Cardinals had a guy from their pitcher.
Well, yeah, like Cuba and Dominican Republic and Cuba. Those two places are extremely. But anyway, and the U.S. I think is down there. Like this is the example I like to use the most. So when I started high school, which was 2010. So 2010, it's 2017 right now. So, at the end of 2017. So let's just say 8 years total, which is really weird to think about, by the way. But anyway, when I first started high school, I don't remember there being a single turf field in all of St. Charles County, which includes probably about 10 high schools. Granted, that's only St. Charles County. Pretty much like the nice private schools or like a richer school would have a turf soccer field. Now, every single high school in St. Charles County has a turf field. Plus, there are probably, just in this county alone, I don't even know how many soccer fields, and a lot of them being turf now. Like my point with that being said is I had a very strong desire to improve upon my weaknesses and make my strengths even stronger, and I was always constantly working outside to be the best player I could be, but I was extremely limited on where I could play because when I was in high school, my entire time throughout high school, there weren't turf fields within like 20 minutes of me. So I would just drive to a grass field and I'd spend hours there just practicing on whatever I needed to work on up at this local church by my house. And granted, they had pretty nice grass fields, and I was extremely grateful for that and whatnot. But right now, within 10 minutes of my house, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 turf fields within 10 minutes of my house.
Wow.
Like how insane is that? Like even my senior year of high school, just 4 years ago, there was not a single one, and now there are 5. And when I say 5, they're actually like two of those fields.
Every school has it.
Yeah, all 3 of the high schools by me, which that new. Now what am I saying? All 3 of the high schools have one, and then there are 2 in the Winsville fields, and then there are like 3 new fields that popped up just this year.
Yeah.
Like, it's insane. So, like, with that being said, I'm extremely, extremely optimistic with how the U.S. is going to be, because these kids growing up, they're going to have better training, and they're going to have better resources than like, I mean, obviously me and anybody to come before me that played the game will have. And that's just St. Louis. You can only imagine where else it's blowing up around the country. So I don't know how popular turf is becoming. I'm assuming it's becoming extremely popular, but
I hate it myself.
You hate it?
Compared to good grass, yeah.
Oh, anybody prefers good grass.
I mean, I've seen so many games where you make a perfect pass, and the person you pass it to can't get to it before it goes out of bounds. That started with turf. I don't care how you make your turf, all this stuff. The kids cannot get used to it. Even if they grew up on a turf, they still pass the ball too fast. No matter how good they are, somebody always chasing it, and it goes out of bounds. That's not soccer to me.
I disagree unless it's raining.
Now,
if it's raining, I agree with you 100%.
You're the only one I know that could. If you pass the ball 50 yards, it'll never get out of bounds, and you'll be within a foot of the line. But yours didn't go out of bounds because you had a left foot. You're on the left side, and most of the time you just go right straight down the line. Well, most people can't do that.
I did have a very bizarre talent of doing that. I'm kind of convinced, because I've seen in Milena, I'm kind of convinced my cerebellum is a little bit like overdeveloped compared to other people, because crossing was definitely a strength of mine, and so was it for Milena. Like, and I could like scoop the ball. I could still do it, and I'm not trying to feed my own narcissism here. There are a lot of people that can cross better than me. There are a lot of people better than me at soccer in general, but like I did have a very just natural talent for being able to put the ball where I want it, and I still to this day
not just the passes. Well, it's a pass when you hit the 40 yards, it hits a guy on the knee. Not a knee, but a foot.
Right.
I'm saying you give the right defender, like I call them inside right. When you have 4 forwards, you got an inside right and inside left. Usually you'd give the ball to that inside left or the middle, depending on if they had 3 or 4 people up there. And it would literally land on their foot, and they'd be running.
Which I think most of that is just being like a advanced soccer player and like perfecting my craft. But you're right. Like even at the level I played at, not very many people could do that. Mm-mm. Like I was not a ton. But on the contrary, though, there are a ton of people as well that can do it and stuff. Like, I mean, Mark Relic was also really good at that.
Yeah.
There are a lot of like other really like good people at that too. But it's cool. Like I like that aspect of sports. How you start to figure yourself out a little bit more. You start to find yourself more, and you start to figure out what your weaknesses are. You start to figure out what your strengths are. And I think that's not just the aspect of how much confidence sports have given me, but more so like. I think it's cool how you can apply those concepts to the real world. Like there's a hidden truth within my work ethic in soccer that I think is going to carry over to my career as well. And that's like just the aspect of finding your strengths, playing to your strengths, finding your weaknesses, and kind of not exposing them. Like kind of keeping them more on the DL. And Not to mention finding somebody that can compensate for your weaknesses and you can compensate for theirs.
Yeah, Milena's really good at that too. She's in the middle.
Right.
So she passes different places, but they're just right on.
She's a great passer. She's come along as a soccer player for sure.
That's
But whenever I went and watched her play and saw how good of a passer she was, and like she could like you know what I'm talking about when I say a scoop, right? Like what I'm referring to when I say a scoop in soccer, because it's not a very familiar. I may have just made the term up completely, but I will put my foot, and Milena can do this well too. And this is something I like learned, and I've just been good at from a young age, with with minimal practice. I just picked it up. I had a knack for it, and I always found it kind of weird how. But I'm convinced that it's something genetically either inherited or just something genetic. I don't know. But what I'm referring to when I say scoop in soccer is I get my foot underneath the ball. Typically when the ball is stationary, that's when it's easier. And I say there's somebody in between me and my teammate, and they're like close to me, they're coming on. I will put I will put my foot underneath the ball and just simply just scoop it up, and it'll go like straight up in the air, but it'll land right on my teammate's foot. Or not right on, but it'll land on my teammate.
That what's shocking, not shocking, but what's unusual, I guess, is because the guy across the field is always running toward the net, which means that you got to know pretty much how fast that guy's going. Of course, if you get in front of him, I don't remember them having to stop, and like your ball is always in front of them. They didn't have to stop and wait till it got there. It seemed like they just kept moving, maybe not full blast running, but they could keep moving without having to stop and say, oh crap, there he's 10 feet off, you know. You'd be like within 1 foot almost.
Yeah, that's
where that guy's going to be like 5 seconds from now, you know.
That's definitely a timing thing, and I think that kind of plays on like a few other sports like football. You know, it's the same deal with like a quarterback timing the run of his wide receivers. Like it's just something you get good at over time, as far as that. And then once you have an accurate cross that you can put where you want it, you can just kind of naturally start to read that person's speed, that run. You start to like almost calculate it in your head. Which it's hard to do. Like I'm not 100% at it. Nobody's 100% at it. I mess it up all the time, still to this day. Like whenever I play with my friends and stuff.
Did you ever, where you are now? When you were in the 9th grade, I think some people wanted you to play on the football team as a kicker.
I think so. When you say some people, it sounds like you're implying like the football coach was like hitting me up, like knocking on my door every day. Like I think it was just my mom. I think my mom was pushing it a little bit, or my dad, or somebody.
I get the impression that somebody on the team was kind of encouraging you to go. And you told me, I can't believe it to this day, but you were telling me when you were in 9th grade you could kick the ball 45 yards. I just don't believe that.
I do remember in the 9th grade I went out and. Because I couldn't kick as far. Like, I had, like, an average kick. Like, as far as, like, kicking strength.
45 yards is not an average kick on a football field.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of... Well, at the level I was playing at, I probably had about an average. Maybe a little bit above. Maybe. I don't know. But, no. I think what it was is in the 9th grade, it was wet outside, and I went out in, like, tennis shoes. Lakewood, California. This is drug dealer. You better take that. This is drug dealer.
Hello.
What up, California? What's going on?
Not too much. This is Sade Johnson from SSIS, an independent research firm. We're interested in people's opinions and experiences regarding healthcare, and your participation in this study is very important. We're not selling anything. Our questions are for research only, and your answers are strictly confidential. This call may be monitored for quality assurance. Are you still there with me?
Yeah, what kind of questions are you talking about? I don't answer very many questions for anybody.
Oh, you don't?
No, nothing.
Is there a reason to that?
Is there a reason why I don't give my private information out to strangers?
Not private. No private information. We're not looking for any. We're not telling anything, so we're not looking for no credit cards, debit cards, or anything like that. So this is just for opinions for the national campaign to prevent teen and unplanned pregnancy.
Teen unplanned pregnancy.
Yes.
I've got a solution for them.
Opinions.
Yeah, I thought about that a lot. I've got a solution for them.
What?
Stop having sex. And I'm 100%. And I'm 100%. That's what I believe in. I follow a lot of activity. I'm retired, so I have a lot of time on my hands. I follow a lot of this kind of stuff. There's at the political level. There's one group of people. I guess it would be the Democrats, and the other people would be Republicans. But one of them says that if you work for somebody, they have to give you help. They have to give you birth control, and the other side says they shouldn't do that because.
Well, you know what? It's funny that you said that because in this poll there's those types of questions in here as well.
Well, my view is that if I owned a large company and I am a very religious person, so I would refuse to do that myself, and no amount of lawsuits or anything else would change my mind. And I think that the liberals, the Democrats, I guess mostly in that group, they kind of think that if you want to have an abortion, I should pay for it. If I was the owner of my business, and I know that I think that nun group, I forget the name of that group, but Obama was going to charge them like $1 million a day, trying to force them to do that.
So could you see why your opinion matters?
I'm here with my grandson right now, and we're doing some stuff. I could answer. I'll take 5 questions and I'll answer those, and then that should be enough.
That won't be enough. How about I'll call you back at a different time?
Okay, that's cool.
Okay.
Have a good day.
Good.
You're in California, I guess, huh? You're in California?
Yes.
So it's really only 7 o'clock in California, I guess.
Yes.
It's 9 p.m. here. Okay, call me some other time.
Okay, I will do that. Thank you so much. Have a nice night.
Okay, bye. First time I've ever done that. I get calls from all over the country. And here's what I like to do.
You were giving her.
Oh, hang on. It's like.
Oh, I thought you were gonna end it. You had fun with her though. You were kind of finessing, Grandpa.
Did that go into here?
Yeah, that was all. I was holding it up to you. That's why I was holding it up to your mouth so you could hear her better.
People like that, I could talk her. I could ruin her life. if she's of course, all she's gonna do is ask questions.
Right.
She's not about to argue with somebody like me.
Oh no, she was not getting confrontational. She was not voicing her own opinions whatsoever.
Yeah, and she said, "See, what'd you say? See how valuable it is, or something that we might want to talk to you."
Yeah, she was somewhat persuasive. I got to give that to her.
Yeah, I 10 years ago, I would have bought something from her, even if she wasn't selling something.
Right.
I just totally changed the last few years.
Telemarketers are bad.
Not as nice as I used to be, and because my TV, it's gone twice this week.
Well, you've adapted. You adapted to this world, and I'm sure you get more calls than I do. I'm sure your age gets.
I don't answer most.
Right. I answer them sometimes, just in case. Usually it's just BS. It's like.
Well, anybody calling me from out of state, they either want money.
Right.
It's a lot of healthcare stuff. They want to come into my house and give me some. I just happened to be married to a woman that doesn't let anybody in her house. You're lucky to be in here in her house. She's not come home and run you out because she is. extremely private about this house. If I brought Mick Shannon in this house, because when he drives, he comes and lets me off right outside. If I told Mick, a lot of times I say, hey Mick, let's go around the back and I'll show you all my crap back there. She'd get mad. I did it once too, a long time ago. He just wanted to see the pool like 10 years ago, I guess, you know.
Not to cut you off, but I think is she fine? The dog Snickers might puke. I don't know. She seems like she's I think she's cool. She's cool. She's licking her lips. I mean, this is good.
If your grandma finds out the dog is peeing on the place, she'll take him home tonight.
Let's not talk about it anymore, because anything we say from here on out, Grandpa's evidence.
Oh, you still okay?
Yeah, it's still recording. Oh, look at Charlie doing her little downward stretch. She's so cute. You want to end this? You want to talk about one more topic, or you just want to end it?
I don't know, it's up to you. I don't care. I can flabber all night.
I will let you not sit on a hard surface so that your butt can sit on that soft couch over there.
Oh.
No joke. Anybody still listening, I thank you and I appreciate you. But this man I'm talking to right now, my grandpa, he cannot sit on any hard surface.
I weigh 148 pounds.
How much did you weigh 10 years ago?
190.
So you've lost 50 pounds, probably 50 pounds of muscle.
The worst ever, with clothes on and everything, was like 192. And that's probably 7 or 8 years ago. But
192,
over
okay.
Over the last, say, 5 years, I've lost 40 pounds.
Wow.
Maybe 30.
Okay. I'm 200 right now. I don't know if you believe it.
Are you 200?
Yeah.
You were 200 last time you came.
Yeah.
You were.
I've been 200. I gained like 10, 15 pounds of muscle this year. I can still run a 15 mile, which that was my last mile. I've been running a ton since that. So I think I might be down to the 5s now. I don't know.
Mine's getting dangerous because the other day, every time I take a shower, which is not every day, because I don't take showers.
The truth comes out.
There's no point in it, you know. I'm just sitting in the house, walking around the house, you know. If I go outside and work or do that or go to play golf or something like that, then I'll take a shower. But if I take a shower and then the next night or the next morning, I can look around and say, what am I going to do today? Nothing.
Right.
I don't see any.
Well,
in fact, you're not supposed to wash your hair every day. You're not supposed to do that.
I don't wash my hair every time I shower. I like sometimes I'm like, I don't really think I need to.
In fact, I've heard people say you shouldn't take a shower every day because
the oils in your skin.
The oils in the skin and a lot of other stuff on your skin, you're just washing it off.
Okay.
Now, but Melania, Bailey, and all that will go nuts if they heard something like that.
How much can you shower? Like how much do you shower in a week? Not how much can you shower?
Times, you mean?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
I just want to like I'm gonna judge whatever you say, just so you know.
Oh, I don't. Sometimes it depends on dirty. You know, and dirty.
I'm just messing with you.
To me means going out back or up front and bending down and cutting weeds and dragging them up the hill.
No, I agree with you though. Like if you like plan on like just sitting around all day watching TV or like doing whatever, like having like a chill day, then what is the reason? Besides, have you ever taken like a shower for mental clarity?
Mental clarity.
Mental clarity, yeah. Like okay, for example, I've woken up and kind of felt like a little like bummy, like a little sluggish that morning. So and a little gross, like on the exterior, like my face might feel like my forehead might feel kind of oily or something. So what I would do is just hop in the shower, take a real quick shower for like mental clarity before I go study or something, or go read or whatever.
I've never heard of that, but yeah, if you're active, one shower, no more than every other day. But if you're working out and all this kind of stuff, and obviously you're sweaty and all that stuff, yeah, I don't. I mean, when I worked every day, I took a shower every morning. just get up, go take a shower, and go to work.
Right.
This is what you did, you know. But
Times have changed. Shower habits have changed, Grandpa.
I don't go to work every day. Now,
Yeah, I shower
Speaking of
like
that-
once a month, maybe.
I don't know how many people are going to stay here tonight. If they don't take some showers tonight, there won't be enough water in the morning for 6 people.
Well, I'm not staying here. My dad and I are both staying at the farm.
Well, you got me, Darce, and then 3 more. Rhonda and 2 kids.
Well, that's your problem.
So what's that?
No, actually, we don't know where we're showering. I'm good on a shower.
So that's 5 people. So 5 people get up in the morning and try to take a shower. The last 2 or 3, they're not going to get any, because women can't just take a 5-minute shower. They got to go in there for like 30 minutes.
Oh, Melena's like a 45.
It's going to lose all the water out. All the hot water.
Here's a solution to that. Shower tonight.
That's exactly what
At
I
least
said.
half of them need to shower tonight. That's always a solution,
Do
man.
you think a woman is?
Life hack.
You think a woman is going to do something that I tell them to do? It's already after 9 o'clock. They won't be home probably till 11.
I'm going to guess the answer is no.
But they've been
Nada.
working. They've been working all day. They should take a shower. They're going to be stinky.
Right.
Now I take my showers in the morning. So if I get up, I'm not necessarily going over there at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
I mean,
No, you do you, Grandpa. You're not even. I mean, anything you do is a favor that I can only thank you for.
your father.
Wait, you're kind of getting away from the mic.
I didn't realize you were still. I thought you'd shut that thing down.
All right, here's the sign off. If you're still listening, I appreciate you. Like I said earlier. Yeah, this has been another episode. I believe it's episode number 16. I want to say. I think it's 16. I don't know.
Not with me. I'm 16, maybe.
No, I haven't done 16 with you. I actually built a studio in my basement of my house down at school.
Really?
Yeah. So like me and my buddies will just go down there, and I've only had one, or yeah, pretty much. We only did it one night so far, but they're about it. They enjoy it, and I keep telling them the only goal of this podcast is to have a good conversation, which I'm kind of tentative to even say. I want to have a good expectation, because whenever you put the adjective good in front of conversation, it kind of creates like an expectation. So I think I might start saying, I was thinking about this on the way here, I think I might start saying I want to have a conversation to the best of our ability. Or just have a good conversation. But there's no expectations. Like, whatever the conversation turns into is what I want it to be. And I want quality conversation. That's all I'm looking for here. That's my only goal. Obviously the goal would be nice to, I don't know, like to build up an audience would be awesome, and I plan on doing that, but for now it's all fun. It's all fun, and it's I'm going to grow as a person. I'm going to become more articulate, more personable, more charismatic, better conversationalist. I mean, there's so many wins to gain here that like the benefits just shouldn't be overlooked. But I want to emphasize the point that I'm not doing this just for fame, like, because I've tried that. Whenever I did Vines and I did YouTube, I obsessed over that, and I'm really happy it didn't happen for me. I'm really happy it worked out the way it did, because I've grown as a person, I've grown into myself, and my confidence is an all-time high, and I'm trying new interests, and I'm getting a college degree, and I'm happy with my life, and happy with who I am and who I'm becoming and where I'm headed, and where this podcast is headed especially, so can't complain about that. I guess that's the send-off. Should we end it on that, Grandpa?
Yeah. Shut her down.
Shut her down!